What's good, believers? What's good? I hope the lighting is well. It's the best I could do. I wanted to change my whole angle, but I didn't want to keep you guys waiting because I said 4 p.m. It's 4:16 right now, looking at the clock. But in the future, all of my stuff is going to give the time, but it's going to say divine timing because I just don't believe in being in a state of rush for no reason. Like nothing in life is that. Oh, I wanted to put some gloss on. Nothing in life is that important. I don't like to be in a state of rushing. I've graduated from that era. I'm like a flow and ease type of girl, and I love that for me. Okay. Okay. That's much better. Um, I wish somebody was in right now so y'all can confirm if y'all can hear me. But hopefully y'all can. This is connected, so everything should be well. Let's get started. Well, first I want to talk about some updates in my life. Y'all, I've been locked for 1 year. Let me show my hair. My 1 year anniversary for my lock. Yes. I just kind of yeah. I've been locked for 1 year, and it's deep. You know, I love my hair. That's all I can say. I love it. I need to play in it more and design it, like do different styles and stuff, and just But I love my hair. It's the best decision. Let's see. Okay, housekeeping. Last book club meeting was with my friend Shonda. And we said on that meeting that we were gonna do this was gonna be the last one, and we are gonna do all the chapters for this one. No, we're not doing that. Life has the momentum in life has been going so fast. Can you hear me? Hey, confirm if you can hear me. Life has been going so fast that I want to like process it. Like I said, the book club is not for um completion. It's for understanding the energy. Can y'all hear me? I guess y'all can. Welcome to the Juicy Book Club. This is the book Go Higher by Big Shine, Look Shine Anderson, and we doing chapters 15 to 21. But yes, so the next book club meeting, I'll probably drop it. I believe it's going to be maybe like July 12th. I'll probably finish it out on a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing to have Saturday plans for a book club. It may be on a Saturday, but I'm choosing for it to be 4 p.m. But I'm gonna let y'all know. Like I said, life been moving so fast, so um, I'm doing the best I can. So let's get it popping. Okay. So in the book, he has reflection questions at the end. I'm gonna reflect in real time on them because I didn't journal it out. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna read some passages. Y'all can comment down below as well. I love being interactive, you know. So it's just me. I'm gonna interact with myself and y'all. Okay, this is chapter 15 on healthy friendships. He said, one of my challenges is to work through hard times with people in my life without becoming defensive. I need to show up to learn what I'm meant to learn from that relationship. I've come to believe that defensiveness is like putting yourself on a pedestal and saying, I'm better than you. You're wrong. As soon as I feel myself thinking that way, I stop and remember that putting up walls stops you from growing. To cast someone out without reflection is like locking a door without checking to see who's on the other side. I'm gonna stop right there. That's hella deep. First off, one of my personal things that I said I was letting go of this year, and if you follow me, um, you heard me say this, but it stopped being offended. I need to stop being offended by people. It just wastes so much energy. It wastes so much energy being offended by someone else's actions, their energy, period. Like, I want to live my life where nothing fucking bothers me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure everybody probably that's what they want, but I'm really on some peace stuff. Like, I'm really on my peace shit. I ain't gonna lie. So being offended wastes so much energy, and so does being defensive. Like, not being able to receive what somebody is saying. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna read this sentence again. To cast someone out without reflection is like locking a door without checking to see who's on the other side. Right? You're not even reflecting. You just so defensive. Somebody nobody can say nothing to you, and you just cast them out. I really that was deep that he said that. Let me see if I have something in my notes. Oh, I said taking accountability on how you attracted this. What part did you play in the situation? What part did you play? We can't just go through life being so offended and being so defensive because life is all about relationships. I just recently started. I mean, I do it on and off, but I listen to audiobooks on Audible, and I just re-listen to. I'm re-listening to now Abraham Hicks' The Vortex book, and she talks about relationships, how everything is a relationship. Everything is we're interacting in life. It's a two-way thing. So it's like we can't get away from being in a relationship. Whether you are in a relationship with your employer, you're in a relationship with, what I'm saying, a lover, a child, a mother, whoever. You know what I'm saying? So everything is a two-way thing. So we have to learn how to deal with people. We have to learn how to deal with ourselves. Really deal with ourselves and whatever the energy that we put off. So let me see. He said, in my friendships, we try to make each other better, share information, and be non judgmental with each other. To remember we're all just doing what we can. I personally love hyping my friends up and cheering them on. And I really appreciate when they return that same energy to me as well. Ultimately, your deepest lifelong friendship is with yourself. So don't forget to hype yourself up and recognize that people who support that relationship are the ones to keep around, nurture, and appreciate. I love that he said that too. You know what? Because um, I need to hype myself up more. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I've been doing way just so much better at. But that's something that you can't forget because at the end of the day, you have to remind yourself who you are. You know what I'm saying? I say that that's like my biggest thing to remember who I am every single day. And I want my children to remember who they are. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Welcome to the Juicy Book Club. You can hear me? Yay, Shirley. Look, my bestie. Look, I don't be caring about nobody. Look, my bestie is in the chat. But anyway, so yeah, you can't forget to hype yourself up. Let's see. Okay, so this is the reflection question in this chapter, chapter 15. Are you surrounding yourself with people who reflect your values and make you a better version of yourself? Are you a good friend to others? Well, let me just stop there. I'm going to do it one at a time so we won't get too much. Are you surrounding yourself with people who reflect your values and make you a better version of yourself? I would say yes. For me, that's definitely something you just have to have. You have to strive to have that. And if you don't have that, because all the time you may not have that, it may just be you. If you don't have that, keep doing yourself, and then you will attract the community that will reflect the same thing. So I would say yes for me. Are you a good friend to others? Yes, I'm a good friend to others. I believe so. What are the characteristics that make you a good friend? To me, a good making me a good friend is listening, being able to show up for others, being able to celebrate people, being able to just be, be there. Being is a good friend. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't understand that, like just being with somebody, listening to them, loving on them, like that's what makes a good friend. How can you be a better friend to yourself? For me, um, and y'all can answer these in the chat too, and I'll read them out. For me, being a better friend to myself is to not to let me see. I don't want to go not just continue to be patient with myself and continue showing up. That's how you be a better friend. Just like in friendships, you show up and you listen to your friend. Continue to do the same thing to myself. Continue to listen to myself. Continue to be the same stuff I just said. Once in a while, he said, once in a while, I take myself out to dinner or go to the movies by myself. Yes. Being a better friend to myself is stopping the internal judgment, showing myself grace. Yes. Yes. I just told them, Shalaya, because it was like 27 people in here, people come in and out or whatever. Um, and I was just telling them, like, all of my shit is like gonna be divine timing. Because I said 4, but I started at like 4:15 because I said ain't nothing worth to be in a rush. So I'm a better friend to myself when I don't put pressure on myself to be on a rush time, divine timing. So I don't know. They just made me think about that. But yes, I love that. Okay, chapter 16. This is the quote in the beginning. So this chapter is never assume. You're gonna be a much happier person when you stop assuming. That's facts. Right, time is right. And you know what, Shalaz? Like, I've been natural things just been popping up in my head. The watch that you gave me, that shit is still lit. I have it somewhere. When I find it, I can't wait to wear it. Like I really, you know what I'm saying? Like want to wear some cute watches, but like I want divine timing on it or the now shit, whatever. Like that shit is real. Okay. Let's see. Chapter 16. Okay. Never assume. You're gonna be a much happier person when you stop assuming. One of the this is the at the beginning of the paragraph, on page 135. One of the greatest challenges in romantic relationships is to accept who's sitting in front of us, not some fantasy of who our partner is. The best way to find clarity is to communicate openly rather than playing games or making assumptions. It's about facing the truth and appreciating what's good about it rather than approaching things with some preconceived idea about how people should be. Let me tell y'all, that shit, cut out all that shit. I'm just gonna get straight to the point. You can't, that's like, when you still doing playing games like that, you got to do more emotional development. It's like this shit wastes so much energy. I'm just giving this shit to y'all straight. Assuming shit and then not being able to communicate, especially with your partner, that shit wastes so much energy. I can say now, like I don't do none of that shit. I say exactly what the fuck it is. And excuse my language, but I'm just feeling the energy because it's a waste of time. And two, I feel like when you accept the truth of like who somebody is, that's when you're loved. We need to love unconditionally. It's not about changing or wishing somebody else was different. That's actually fucked up. What if somebody was around you and they just wish you was different? That's like damn, like you know what I'm saying? You don't love me for who I am. So I feel like even with being a parent, loving your children like loving them how they are, not waiting. If you're waiting, you kind of like cutting your shit short. So I feel like I don't know. Even in this past year, I have grown, developed more in that sense of just more accepting. Period across the board, accepting myself, accepting others, and I feel like when you are in on that vibration, then that's like when you really can like deeply. That's when you deeply love him. Even think about the day. Sometimes we think the day should go different how it went, but guess what? When you do that, you cut your day short because you didn't enjoy the day how it unfolded. So yeah, let's see. 136. Where's my highlighter? Okay, so I'm gonna read what I have on the next page. He mentioned a girl he was dating got upset about him liking pictures about a girl. I mean about just girls period. And she never said it was a problem, whatever. But he said to me it's important to be explicit about what's okay or not okay. Exactly. If you are playing games, you just that's you just playing games basically. If you're not being clear about what you want, you playing a game. It's a guessing game. Nobody got time for this shit, especially if you grown. You know what I'm saying? This is not high school. This ain't even college. I don't know whatever. Maybe it is for you. Maybe whoever watching this, y'all are in college. But yeah, right. Closed mouths don't get fed. But it's really serious though because some people are not comfortable with saying shit outright. Look, I'm stuttering at this point. So I'm just passionate about this because I gotta say what the fuck it is, and I respect when people give you the same. He said we're all capable of spiraling into fear or doubt, telling stories about what's happening, inventing problems. I've learned that a person's ego or pride can sometimes be hurt by something you may not think of as a big deal. What's important is to try to look clearly at the person in front of you, share how you're feeling and what you're seeing, approach your own feelings and the other person's with curiosity. Be open to learning more about yourself and your partner. One of the hardest things to do in the heat of the moment, I realize, is to step outside of your perspective and understand your partner's perspective. I feel like a place of understanding is always a pathway to solution. That doesn't mean you have to agree with their perspective, but at least acknowledging it shows that you care. Prime example. Hold on. She said you should feel safe to be able to express. We have to release the need to be confrontational. Yes, because it's not about confrontation. And once we communicate more, I feel like the softer it becomes. It's like we need to practice communication across the board. Expressing how you feel doesn't mean it's going to be confrontational. That's self love and honoring yourself and boundaries as well. Right. Right. And like I said, the more you practice, the easier it'll become. You'll be able to express something where the other person can receive it, even though it's not my job to make you receive something a certain way, but because it's really about the intention. But you learn to speak with love. It's a practice. I was gonna say this example. Okay, on Bel Air. I don't know if y'all seen Bel Air. That's one of my favorite shows. So I'm like rewatching that shit again. I had already rewatched it, but the Uncle Phil and Aunt Vivian on Bel Air, the new show, basically she kind of projected all type of shit on him, and I love how he handled it. She was just like saying certain shit that blaming him for her stopping her art, basically. And I love how he sat there and he listened to her, and then when the time was right, he was like radical honesty. That was their thing. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And then he was able to say exactly what he felt. He basically she basically showed her that she was projecting, and he was able to say it with love. And her eyes opened up. She was able to see the point. I love that. We need more examples of that. I don't know if y'all understood that, but yes, I love it. Let's see. Um, okay, so I'm just gonna jump to another page and read what I underlined. Um, He said, but again, where the ball gets dropped is when we're not communicating our expectations. Sometimes we don't want to bring up hard things due to incredible chemistry or great times. But in order to keep things good, we need to express what it is we desire from the relationship. Boundaries have to be discussed and negotiated before they can be enforced. Feelings aren't rules, right? Same shit I just said, basically. Um, On the last page in the chapter, he basically was summing up what I've already was talking about, but I'm gonna read what I underlined. The best way to build a strong, honest foundation in a relationship is to operate in good faith, trust in the basic goodness of each other, and communicate well. The whole thing comes down to communication. One of the benefits of working on yourself and knowing who you are is that you can then express that to the other person. To me, learning how to love yourself comes down to doing things that makes you happy and knowing what's best for you, so long as it's not detrimental to your loved ones. And then at the bottom, he said, "Your whole life is relationships, and the common denominator is all in all of them is you. You're in a relationship with yourself for as long as you live." Exactly, and that's what Abraham Hicks was talking about that I mentioned earlier. Um, if you're with someone, make a list of everything you would like to see in your relationship. What do you agree on? Are there any surprises? If you're not in a relationship, make a list of everything you'd love to have in a partner and start attracting that to yourself. I'm not gonna do that in real time because that'll take all day, but I'll do that at a different time. So yeah, we on chapter 17. This chapter is what you're running from can save you. And then he said everybody's going through something. So my quotes are going to come from page 142 and 143. Let me see. This was deep because he was talking about how he's been open in the public about that him and Janae had a miscarriage. So he was talking about his reaction of when he first found out that she was pregnant the first time. He said, "I had a childish reaction when she first told me she was pregnant. I said I wasn't ready. I knew having a child was a blessing, but I didn't know that it was right for me because I'd never had a child of my own and seen the magnificence. I couldn't fathom it. That was how I honestly felt, but I look back and regret saying I wasn't ready out loud in that moment. I wasn't being considerate, and that may have just been a reactionary response. We were on two different pages. I look back at that on that now, wishing I had a little bit more of awareness at that time of my life." That's deep for him to say that. I love a person being honest. I mean, that was deep. Um, but let me go down and to my quote. Let's see. It takes depth and vulnerability to go within yourself and to accept your complicated feelings on your way to finding stillness. You have to make yourself a priority and be gentle with yourself. When it comes to feelings that are there's no good or bad, you just have to feel the feelings and know when they're showing you something, allowing them to come and go. It's a blessing to be able to feel these things, but it's also important to trust that your fear might not be the whole story. I can think of many times when I was running from something that ended up being exactly what I needed in order to grow and become a better version of myself. I ain't gonna lie, rereading this in this week that just passed for me, I needed to hear that. It kind of brought me back into my power because I was feeling some fear. I'm gonna be honest. I was feeling some fear, and I was kind of irritated, even though I do know, that it's just contrast. I've been here before, so that I did. So I went higher with it, and I'm glad this book did help me go higher with it because I had to prepare for the book club. Um, but I did go higher with it because I know how to deal with contrast. But I want to read it again just for myself. It takes depth and vulnerability to go within yourself and to accept your complicated feelings on your way to finding stillness. Because I found stillness again. I'm somebody who I have practiced, having inner peace, and it's something that I'm not going to be able to give up. I'm not giving it up. it ain't worth nothing else. Ain't nothing else worth me being and living in chaos on the inside. I can't fuck with it. So that's something that I'm dedicated to living a life of peace. I'm going to continue to live a life of peace. Like, so that was deep. You have to make yourself a priority and be gentle with yourself. Again, you know, being gentle is not being irritated with yourself. Being gentle is just loving yourself, letting it pass. Go take a nap. Go drink some water. Because basically, having your mind in a loop, thoughts, all of that shit. When it comes to feelings, there's no good or bad. You just have to feel the feelings and know when they're showing you something, allowing them to come and go. Right? Don't judge it. Look, Shalane talked about that earlier. Don't judge. It's a blessing to be able to feel these things, but it's also important to trust that your fear might not be the whole story. Uh, Dr. Joe Dispenza be talking about that too. He be saying like, people are trying to predict the future from the past, and that's not how the shit works. But it can work when if you continue on that way. Um, but it's also the person that your fear might not be the whole story. I can think of many times when I was running from something that ended up being exactly what I needed in order to grow and to become a better version of myself. I love that. He said that's powerful. Shalane said that's powerful. I literally had an epiphany along the lines. God told me to honor the things that I pray for and enjoy them in the present moment. Yeah, that's why reading is important. I ain't gonna lie. I tried to find the audio. It is just because I was so busy. I'm glad I wasn't able to find it. I mean, I was able to find it, but I had to pay because I think Shonda had said last week that this audiobook was free. I would have listened to it to prepare, but I'm glad I was able to read it because it's able to sit you down and to have these realizations. What is it? Oh, oh, I know, got some. Right. I love reading books. I love audio too. You done brought me food in the middle of me talking, but I gotta take a bite. I'm sorry, y'all. I smelled something too. He done brought me some food, so I'm gonna be taking a little bite here and there. I was judging my journey and down myself, but there was power recognizing how far I come. Exactly. And we both know this. We know it, and we just and it's okay. Cause it's like at the end of the day, I don't got no ego with this shit. I was definitely in a get your big. We go loop the loop. We go loop the line. But I but I still it wasn't. You know, I'm wiser now, so I know it's gonna pass. This too shall pass. So it's like, man, shit ain't nothing is a big deal, and that's why I said if I don't ever need to be in a state of rush or nothing. Just ease is everything at the end of the day. Um, I'm gonna read the bottom because I thought this was type two because he's open about we need more men need to write books, and we ourselves though. Look, 'cause that's the projection. Bitch, I need to write my own book. Everybody needs to write their own book too. But still, I just love when men are able to express. You know what I'm saying? Because really, shit, I love when people are able to express. Period. I'm the owner of the Juicy Expressions, but I'm getting deeper in my expressing in the now, and I love that for me. So anyway, he said my partner already had a daughter, and I wondered whether I was up to the challenge of functioning as a parental figure to a teenager. When I was younger, I used to say I'll never date someone who has a kid, but her daughter and I have an awesome bond. She's a really cool person. I love hearing her perspective on things. I take pride in being another male figure in addition to her dad who's there for her and who she can talk to. I love that. I just underlined that. This is I'm gonna try to answer this in the now. What are you avoiding in your life? I don't know. Let me see. I tried to answer that when I read it too, and I you know, I would say editing. I guess editing my footage, but I'm not intentionally avoiding it, so I don't know how to answer the question. I don't know. I'm open and receptive for my spirit to tell me what it is I'm really avoiding, because I try not to avoid stuff. But I would say, shit, editing. Is it possible that this thing might serve you in your development? For sure. I feel like I told them earlier. I don't know how long you was on the live, but if I can remember who I am every day, that's lit. And if my children can remember who they are every day, that's lit. Because we walking around here asleep, not remembering who we are, and that's why we have the doubts at times. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when you look at pictures of yourself, when you look at your footage, you gonna be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? It unlocks doors quickly. And what's the best that could happen from it? Shit, all my footage will be out. So that's what I would say. What am I avoiding? I don't know. I have to ponder deeply on that. Um, okay, we on chapter 18. It's called Being Kind. Whatever you put out into the universe comes back at you. He talked about how Pharrell, he met Pharrell, they became friends, and the first time he was in the studio with him, Pharrell was talking to the person who was um, sweeping up the studio, and Pharrell was giving him the same respect that he gave a superstar. And he said, I saw I saw him taking the time to know everyone, no matter who they were. And when I commented on how cool I thought that was, he told me that he treats all people with the same respect, and that he doesn't believe in anyone being better than anyone else. That's something that I took from him. I never really belittled anybody before, but he helped to instill in me a foundation of treating all human beings with full attention. That's how I am. I ain't gonna lie. I always like, I don't know, I just feel like everybody is energy, everybody is love, everybody is, you know, human shit. So for the most part, I just, you treat people how you want to be treated. Yeah, we definitely like that. We love people. Um, and he said, not that you gotta do it to get something, but treating people well does rebound to you. I love, even like when I'm handling business on the phone, talking to people, companies, about whatever transactions I got going on. I love talking with kindness. You know what I'm saying? I love it. It makes the conversation go better. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Okay, this is on page 148. I'm reading the highlighted. He said, well, once you realize that you're in control of your own feelings, you're able to get over negative emotions at a much more rapid rate. I've learned to say, man, hold on. Let me go through how I'm feeling and let me recognize that this is temporary. This is exactly what I was just talking about. Um, period. I will get past this. And not only would I get past it, but I will also get past it as a better version of myself for having gone through this. I'm in control of my emotions. Every time I get into a heated situation, I think that and cool down immediately. I don't get worked up like I used to. I'll just say, look, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't feel that way. And then I see you though. I want to let you know that I see you. Holding on to anger or a grudge can be a very heavy thing to bear, even if you don't realize it. It's like holding a glass of water. It's not heavy, but if you hold it all day long, you're going to be sweating and your arm is going to feel like it's about to fall off. When I tell you, when I tell you, I'm in a place in my life that I'm not gonna hold on to nothing. I release it all. I'm gonna do my best to release that shit. And of course, you can't force release some shit. That's why you actually have to do the work. You have to actually go through the steps to release it. What we just read, that's what we was just talking about. So I read this at the end of the week. So I had already kind of like took myself higher, like soothing my thoughts of you know, like I said, being in the loop, like feeling the, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, shit, you'll get this too shall pass. Let me see. Right. I didn't. Let me finish this. I didn't even finish it. That's how it is with the little things we hold on to. One of the easiest ways to metaphorically put the glass down is to do the work to understand. Right. You got to do the work. That's what I'm saying. The the whole book club is deep. I know I said this before, but this book club is deep just because the book title. It's called Go Higher. You know what I'm saying? And it's like where we are now, it just shows you that you have to continuously do the work. There's not like an item that can happen. There's not one circumstance that can happen in your life where you're just done. I got that manifestation. I don't got to do the work no more. No, it's never gonna be like that. Um, yeah, that's all I got to say about that chapter. Let me take a little bite real quick. Okay, at the end of the chapter, it says, once a day for the next week, wish something good for someone after spending a moment with them. It could be a child, a friend, a bank teller, someone you love, or someone you barely know. Maybe even say it for someone you don't particularly like, such as someone who cut you off in traffic. Just take a couple of seconds to honor them with a little prayer, and they will have some goodness in their life. Yeah, I like that. It's like kind of paying it forward, but you can do it silent. I love doing it silently. It's like giving silent blessings. The seven spiritual laws talk about that. Deepak be talking about that too. Like just when you interact, because again, we are all in a relationship with everybody, and we really in a relationship with ourselves, and everything is a mirror. So everything that we see is a mirror to us. So people are just throwing the energy back at us. It's showing us. So it's like you want to send them love because you send yourself love too. You cannot jump from one step to 10. Those steps in between matter. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah. No, you can't. Surely, we on the leading edge, dog. That's what I'm saying. People are going to be consulting because at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. Everybody, man, you already know. This shit deep. You got to go through the work, y'all. You got to go through the work. So we on chapter 19. I think I just highlighted. Look, my shit was ease. Yep, I underlined the highlight. So yeah, this is called letting people go. And the quote on the first page says, "I used to try to over understand until I understood that overthinking was underwhelming and mainly my wanting to control things I couldn't control. Sometimes you have to let go and get a grip. Life is unpredictable." Um, there have been people I had to reject and turn away from in that way. I always want to have a forgiving heart, but sometimes people aren't on the same page as you. You can forgive someone and they can hurt you again, so you have to set boundaries. That's something that I've learned a lot of times the hard way. So he's talking about it. Well, in this chapter, he talked about his song "I Don't Fuck with You" and how it's about one of his exes. I thought it was Ariana. That's what I'm saying. So I fuck with Big Sean heavily, but I don't be in gossip all the time, so I don't be remember like everybody's tea. So, but it ain't about her though. It was about somebody else. I was gonna look it up. I forgot to do it before here. But anyway, the song wasn't even about her, but I guess he added some lines at the end to make it. But going back to what he said, yeah, I had to learn setting boundaries like in my adult years. Certain shit that you read are just words. Like even if you read shit on a paper, you read stuff in a book, you read something like a whatever you read, you can be like, you can learn something intellectually, but like until you go through the shit and do it, that's when you're like actually learning about it. So boundaries, like you said, so you have to set your boundaries. That's something I had to learn a lot of times the hard way. Yeah, I know about setting boundaries because at the end of the day, like you said, people not on the same page. So you can forgive them, but if they doing the same shit, you definitely have to set a boundary. Period. He said a lot of people assumed that that song was about breaking up with an ex girlfriend of mine. Mainly, it was about breaking up and letting go. While I've worked hard to accept other people for who they are, accepting doesn't mean agreeing. Right. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm ad-libbing. Ad-libbing. Accepting doesn't mean agreeing necessarily. It means facing reality and seeking to understand it from a non-judgmental standpoint. Understanding is a form of acceptance. Understanding people, understanding situations, understanding how the universe works. It means that knowing when something is over and walking away with dignity. Yes, I agree. I don't got nothing really to add to that. That played on Glee. She transitioned. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't remember her. I do remember that. I remember when it happened, but I can't remember her name. So I wanted to look her name up, but I know exactly who you're talking about. Mm. So that chapter was basically about that. So I'll read the ending. Uh, who do you need to make peace with? Are you ready to let go of hurt you've been holding on to? Yes. As I said, so we're here to be creators and we're here to create and we're here to be in a flow state. When you are holding on to other bullshit, you're holding yourself down and you're not flowing. So I recognize for me, it's like even if I wanted to, but I don't even want to. I have created inner peace. I know what it feels like to feel ease in real life. It ain't just a fucking trend or some new shit. We've been doing this shit for a while. I know what it feels like to feel good. So now that shit don't feel good. So there are some people that I need to make more peace that I can make more peace with, but it's internal though. It's not on the Maya Rivera. Okay, Naya. Okay, yeah. There are some people who I need to make peace with, but it's more on the internal thing where I'm already peaceful with them on the external, but on the internal, I don't need to even. I can release the storylines or whatever the fuck going on. You know what I'm saying? Are you ready to let go of any hurt of the hurt you've been holding on to? Yes. I want to look, dust the shit off. No, I don't want to hold on to nothing at all. I'm ready to let go of it all. I don't got time for it. I don't got it. So this is the last chapter. He said, "Yes, I can definitely make more peace with people, but like you said, it's internal. I'm done ruminating about the storyline." Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, it's not like the other person is trying to make it. It's just like the shit is done. You know what I'm saying? It could be peace with the internal. Yes, it don't feel good. And it's crazy because people don't know how they feel yet. So the things that we are able to feel, like he said in the previous chapter, that shit is a blessing. Some people are not, and this is you already know, y'all in my community, believers, we on all different ranges and all type of scales. You know what I'm saying? So if you're someone who don't really know about how you feel on the inside and you just start feeling that shit gonna be heavy. You know what I'm saying? But some people they don't know it's feel. They don't know like the pettiness and gossip with all that shit. They don't know how that shit feel at this moment. If they did, they'll be ready to let it go. But that shit is in divine time. You gotta wanna let shit go. So this is called Forgiving Yourself, chapter 21, the last chapter. When you free someone with forgiveness, you realize you were also a prisoner. Exactly. Yes, one thing I'm grateful for is my emotional guidance system. Yes. Um, so I'm gonna read a quote, but he talked about how his grandma made him go to church and how he wished he was doing some other shit, but now he's grateful for it now. She had family dinners. He said sometimes he took that shit for granted, like going to get some McDonald's or a pizza or whatever. And then his grandma had a stroke and he could never have her cooking again or whatever. He's just talking about little regrets. It don't matter how small it is, because really it ain't even small. I may think that's small because I know I'm a parent now, and she don't give a fuck about that. We know the kids don't. If you have children, they appreciate shit way later. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's good that he's forgiving himself for this. But he said that's one of my biggest lessons I want to apply to myself today. To recognize the blessings I currently have so I can enjoy them now and not just when they're over. We just talked about this week. And what you just said, I'll tell myself, don't wait for people to die to let them know how you feel about them or to enjoy them. I also make sure to let go of guilt I have around things I can no longer control. Yeah, I'm in a letting go of guilt stage now, especially with, I have a thought about my brother, or where I wish, a moment could have been that. I will go through that. I'll be honest, um, but I'll bring myself back and remind myself, like, you can't control that, and everything was divine, and you know what I'm saying, you connect, you have to walk yourself higher. Okay, he said, I believe in identifying, either by journaling in therapy, through meditating, or by talking to friends, what you're holding shame around. Then it's key to take the time to talk through it with yourself until you are reconciled to the fact that you're a human being and you're going to make mistakes. It took me a lot of therapy and a lot of time, but I finally got there. And I can tell you that life is better on the other side of that process. Yeah. Like we said last week, what I said, I'll definitely be interested in therapy. I want it to be the right space, as far as, like, a safe space. But I would definitely receive the, even though I do deep work with myself, but, to unpack shit that I've been through, to let shit go. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, we hold on to so much. He said, forgiving yourself, saying it and meaning it and feeling those feelings can take some time. It might get a little emotional. That's okay. Forgiving ourselves is a part of the work of acceptance. Letting go of how you think things should have been and seeing them for what they are is a gift to yourself. That also means you need to accept the unknown. Accept that it's going to work out for you. Know that all is going to be necessarily, that it's not all going to be necessarily to be clear in that moment. Right. It's a journey. It's a journey. We need to find forgiveness in all areas of life. You have to start by forgiving your people. Growing up, I used to look at my parents and older people like they were saints, like they could do no wrong. But my parents were just kids having kids, figuring it out. They were human and also made some mistakes. That's something I had to realize over time. Whether you need to give others or yourself, forgiveness is one of the most powerful gifts. I've known folks whose mothers died in childbirth, who grew up bearing the weight of feeling responsible for their mother's death. We carry things with us that we can't possibly hold on to. Carrying the weight of guilt can destroy your energy frequency and hold you back in all kinds of ways without even knowing. That's why, in seeking the progression of yourself, it's important to forgive anything that affects you or weighs you down, even if you think it doesn't matter. Many of us feel stuck because we haven't forgiven ourselves, or forgiven others who hurt us. That's what I'm saying. Being aware of your emotions, knowing where shit is holding you down, that shit is key. When it come up, have some grace, because we done been through a lot of shit. So stuff is going to come up. When it comes up, be eased with it, and that's when you get into the non-judgmental space. You try to stay there anyway, but you remind yourself, like, man, you know what I'm saying? You just have to forgive, because all is well, and you have to move forward. And then two, you teach others. The more easy you become, it's like when you become ease, everybody in your life kind of like adapt to that energy. When you like forgiving, like, nothing is a big deal. It's like, let shit go. We should use forgiveness as a tool for freedom. We need to develop the self awareness that what other people do or don't do is a reflection of what they are going through, or as a result of trauma from what they went through and what's been passed down to them. Finding forgiveness is one of the most crucial ways to understand how we exist together in one collective consciousness. And it's one of the most powerful things you can do to move higher on your journey. When you are no longer held back by bearing unnecessary weight, you can fly. And I wrote on the page, I agree wholeheartedly. That's all I can put. You mean to tell me you want to be fucked up by holding on to some shit that somebody else did to you? Or you want to be fucked up about some shit that you did in the past when we living in the now. It just don't. It's not giving. Excuse my energy. I'm just like hype. I feel good, y'all, because like I said, momentum been going real fast, and I love the YouTube community that I've been building, and the Juicy Expressions period. It's like I'm not putting this shit down. So it's like I just love showing up. So I'm hyped, y'all. But all of this shit was what I needed to hear this week, like real talk. So this book did help me go higher. That was all the chapters. Did I read the reflection question? I think I did. Oh no, I didn't. Oh, that wasn't even the whole. That was 20. I'm tripping, y'all. I tried to close the book on y'all. I thought, look, get your big drop mic. Let me do it real quick though. I ain't gonna hold you too long. This is deep. What is your source of shame or regret? It's like I can't answer these questions, and it's not me trying to like hold back. I need to dig deep. I do know now that it came quick that I said that, but I'm not ready to share. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe at a long because shame goes deep. How could you practice? How could you use the practices in this book to help you let those feelings go? I can journal it out. I can talk in a safe space, um, where I can release more things. I can visualize letting shit go. So yeah, what is your source of shame or regret? That's a deep ass question. How could you use the practices in this book to let go of those feelings? That's deep. I don't know when. Yeah, I ain't gonna try. I ain't gonna try. So chapter 21. Regret is the worst roommate. This is the last chapter. It's only 2 pages, and it says apologizing the right way. That's actually the chapter name. A therapist once told me that if you have an apology without a solution, then it's an empty apology. It's easy to say you're sorry. It's much harder to say that and then fully understand why there's a problem, and harder to still to then strategize a solution and do something real about it. Especially when you have to rewire yourself with new ways of thinking after doing something one way your entire life. I underline that because that's real shit, and that's what I do with my kids. That's why it's important. It's not I be telling my kids it ain't about being sorry. You know what I'm saying? Or it's about recognizing what you did, understanding why I'm saying, pointing this out to you, and then learning something, a new way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with adults. But I just use kids from a mother's standpoint. That really resonated with me because that's what I try to do, help them understand, especially my teenager. It ain't about like pointing something out to make you feel shame or make you feel look what you did. It's about let's get some awareness so we can move forward. But anyway, he said the point of knowing better is to do better. Right. Um, this is deep. I just highlighted this. People will underline people in relationships often wind up tying one thing to another when they don't have anything to do with each other. Just because I pay for your movie and popcorn doesn't mean that you have to pay for my dinner. Sometimes we hold stuff over people's heads and keep tabs on every exchange when it's so much more fun and generative to do each other favors with no strings attached. Going tit for tat will cause conflict, confusion, and damage between people. There have been situations in my life when someone's held favors over they've done over my head, even if those favors weren't things I wanted. I just highlighted that because people be doing that. I don't ever do that shit. I don't know if somebody can come and say I ain't never done that. When I do give, I give from love and heart. I've always been like that. I'm not gonna ever hold no shit over nobody's head. Um, And then the end of chapter, regret is the worst roommate. You've got to live your life. Trust that it's all going to work out and that whatever you did isn't forever. You're a human being and you can release a sense of guilt. Then, when someone apologizes in a real way to you, you can offer them that same gift. You can work with them on the solution, refuse to let either of you dwell on it any longer. That's deep. And the ending statement was think of someone you feel like you owe an apology. Think of someone you feel like you owe an apology. Then come up with a way to apologize with the solution. That's deep. I have a slight trauma with that. I'm going to receive it as an adult. Yeah. I don't know. Think of someone you feel like you owe an apology. I don't know. I feel like I be apologizing on here when I if I'm conscious of what it is. I had to dig deep on that. That is the end of the book club. I hope y'all enjoy. I enjoyed showing up. I told them earlier that the next book club will be. It was supposed to be July 13th, that Sunday. I have to check. I don't know. I was supposed to be going out of town. I may not be going out of town now on that date, so I can still do it on that date. But I have to see what's going on. Either way, I will update everyone and send out some news. Look, a news flash for the updated information on the book club. And that's going to be the last one. But yeah, I didn't want to. That would have been too much to put all of that together. I don't know what I was thinking when I said that. I'm glad that I decided against it, so we can break it down. It's not about completion; it's about application. It's not about getting it done. Oh, I check it off. I read this book. I read this book. I no. It's about let's apply it while we're learning it. But I love y'all. If you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe and go to thejuicyexpressions.com. Check out all the content there, and I will see y'all in my next video.